Hello, Tabor. This is Garrett Simmons.
I'm Greg Price.
Welcome to the first installment of Sports from the Stool. Today we're going to be talking about a subject near and dear to our hearts, the National Hockey League and the Philadelphia Flyers, of course, and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Anyway, I guess we've got a lot to talk about. Those two teams played two pretty spirited games here recently, with the Penguins unfortunately coming away with two big wins. Last night game was at least competitive, eh, Greg? I mean, both teams actually looked like they wanted to win that game.
Well, yes, but I guess Pittsburgh still won both games, and I guess if you look at both teams on paper, I would say that probably Philadelphia is probably the more talented team from top to bottom. And I guess you, having watched so many games with the Flyers, what do you think is wrong with the team this year?
Well, I think I can nail it down to two factors: Mike Richards and Jeff Carter. They're the two stars of the team, and you look at their performance, and it just hasn't been as good. I mean, Richards has 27 points, Carter has 26, and Carter's only got 12 goals in the season. He should be a 50-goal scorer, and he's just not producing for the Flyers.
Do you think it's something even to do with the coaching philosophy as well?
I don't know. From the games I've watched, it just looks like the effort's not there. I mean, the goaltending's been okay. You look at their numbers, the goalies. Emery, when he was playing, he played pretty well. Boucher's playing all right. He's not a world beater, but he's okay. And it's just the effort's not there. And the top players just aren't their top players right now. And I guess shifting gears, Pittsburgh, on the other hand, their top players have been fantastic this year.
Well, I guess, but that's one thing that I think that gets lost in the shuffle with the team is that I know a lot of people say that if they had Malkin, Crosby, and Fleury, that anyone could win that way. But there's a lot of teams out there that have a star-studded cast that just can't seem to get it done in the playoffs. And I think I really contribute that to the influence of Dan Bylsma just coming last year, where he took them on a big run of 18-3-4 after he took over, which was the second most of any coach with their first 25 games. And being that his forte was that he was a defensive forward, I think he really had that influence on the team as far as the defensive side of the game. And what another thing that sort of gets lost in the shuffle is that Pittsburgh has gone through a lot of injuries actually this year, and that four of their top six defensemen have lost at least chunks of time. Malkin was out for a little while, and as deep as they are at center, you look at this team and their wingers, I would say their top wingers would be the third or fourth line wingers on any other team. So
when Bill Guerin's your top winger, it seems like there should be some problems there. And then you look at the Flyers, and you've got Simon Richards and Carter, you've got Hartnell, you've got Briere, you've got Van Riemsdyk, Claude Giroux. I know Simone Gagnier's out right now, but they should have enough depth to score 3-4 goals every game. But it's for some reason it's not happening right now, and until they solve that, it's going to be a long year in Philadelphia.
Well, they say, what was it, a record number of 20 goal scorers last year, as far as the most number of 20 goal scorers last year?
Yeah, I think by far they have the most depth on their forward ranks of any team in the league. Maybe I'm biased here, but they have an extremely deep team. Their defensemen are, with Pronger and Tiemann, they have two of the most experienced defensemen in the league, and they got a lot of young defensemen that should be hitting their stride right now. But for whatever reason, even with the coaching change with Laviolette coming in, it's not happening. So I'm at a loss to explain it.
So do you think that this roster needs to be, I won't say torn down, but significant tweaks to it?
I don't know. It's such a young team that it's tough to. I mean, you really only have 3 or 4 really veteran players. Pronger, Tiemann, and Gagner are really your only, really veteran players. So unless you're going to trade Pronger, maybe do a contender down the stretch, but with that big long contract he has, I can't see many teams touching him at this point. But you never know. I don't think any roster changes are needed right now. But I guess if this swan continues for another month here, I guess maybe something's gonna have to change.
Well, I know that I've been hearing on a few of the fan boards about the Christmas wish list for a winger for Crosby or Malkin, but I really can't see that happening as far as we're basically maxed out at the cap. So I don't see that happening. And again, why do you want to mess with a good thing when you're first in the league right now with the roster that you have? I don't see why you'd mess with a good thing unless you have to.
And really, that's on everyone's wish list. You hear, well, we want a number one center, we want a number one winger, but the fact of the matter is there's just not that many of those guys around, and when you do have one, you're going to be pretty reluctant to trade them. But and anyway, shifting gears, I guess, to Team Canada, Has there been any players that have really stood out for you that you think are maybe dark horses that are going to make the team this year?
Not necessarily dark horses. I just think, what kind of philosophy the coaching staff is going to want to go in. Because, I mean, really, you could have 3 teams for Team Canada that could easily win the gold medal, which I guess in a way, hurts yourself because you have so many choices. So, I mean, everyone's going to have their opinions. A player I don't think will make the team, and I know this will be a complete surprise maybe, is I don't think Mike Green will make the team.
Yeah.
Just because you have so much offense on the team that I think on the back end your line players are going to pay a little bit more attention to the defensive end of the ice, and I mean, regardless, you're going to have a bunch of offensive scoring defensemen anyway. So.
And the forward should be able to handle that. And I think the guy for me is Drew Doughty with the Kings. He's played fantastic all year. A good young defenseman. I think that kid has a really shot to make this team, especially with how well the Kings are doing this year. And up front, I'm an Oilers fan as well. I'd love to see Dustin Penner get a shot. I think he's really proved himself this year. And you look at where he is in the scoring race. I mean, he's ahead of a lot of big-time names in this country. Like Corey Perry, Brad Richards, Rick Nash, Aginla. He's got more points than all those guys. I think he deserves a shot just with his size and his skill set. He's really proved a lot this year.
And who do you think? Do you think it's going to be Brodeur as the #1 starter?
I think that's a no-brainer right now. It's going to be Brodeur. Luongo's really played well lately. So I guess you get into a tournament and maybe Brodeur has a couple bad games. Maybe Luongo gets his chance and runs with it. You never know. But on the other side of the coin, I think, I hate to say it, but Marc-Andre Fleury's got to get some consideration. I mean, he's played exceptionally well. He's been a big-time playoff goaltender.
As far as pure athleticism, I think he's the best goalie in the league, but that's, of course, I have my own biases and all that, in which I am predicting again, I'm going on record as another Stanley Cup victory for the Pittsburgh Penguins, which I know there's a couple people out there that if that happens, they're not going to like it.
Okay. Well, that wraps up our first installment of Sports from the Stool. For the Taylor Times, I'm Garrett Simmons.
And I'm Greg Price.
Take care out there.